A lot of bookkeepers tell me that they feel stuck because they don't know if choosing a niche will help them or hurt them. I used to be stuck until I picked one niche that helped me to focus and accelerate my growth, not only my growth in clients, but also in revenue. Maybe you've even thought, well, if I just pick one niche or a couple of niches, aren't I like turning away money? Aren't I turning away people that I could actually help? Here's what I want you to know. Niching down or specializing, that's another word for niching, specializing, doesn't box you in. It actually starts to open the right doors for you, the right doors to the clients and to the revenue and to the business that you want to have. And while you may think that by picking a niche will mean that you will have fewer clients, less flexibility, or even worse, less money, the truth, choosing a niche actually makes it so much easier for the right clients to trust you and to pay you more. In this video, I'm going to bust the biggest myths around choosing a niche so that you can see how it really works in your favor and you can stop believing that niching down will hurt your bookkeeping business and instead show you how to pick one that sets you up for success. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Veronica Sagastumi, and this is The Bookkeeping Shop. I've spent 30 years in accounting, finance, and consulting. And after leaving my corporate executive career back in 2011, I built a multi-six-figure bookkeeping and accounting firm from scratch. Now I help bookkeepers and professionals like you to do the same. Create profitable, flexible businesses you actually enjoy running. Oh, and by the way, I actually still run my accounting and bookkeeping business called Fortified Accounting. All right, let's get into it. I want to start by defining what a niche really is. When I say niche, you may automatically and immediately think things like an industry like e-commerce, real estate, construction. But a niche can actually mean three different things. The first one being an industry that you specialize in, like construction, law firms, medical, just to name a few. The second can be a service that you become known for. For example, maybe you just focus on cleanups or catch up or preparing for an audit. Or maybe you specialize your service in just setting up their books on QuickBooks Online or Xero or FreshBooks or whatever the software that you have expertise in. And the third one being a type of client that you connect with, such as, like myself, a funded startup, creatives, or bilingual owned businesses. For example, serving women-owned marketing agencies or Spanish-speaking business owners who need bilingual support. Do you see how each one of those, the industry, the service, or the type of client could be a specialty, a niche? Niching or specializing just means that you get clear about who you help and how you help them, who you serve, who you support, and how. So now that we've defined what niching or specializing could mean to you in your business, let's start by busting that first myth. Niching means fewer clients. You might be worried. If I pick a niche, won't that mean that I'm turning away all sorts of clients and potential revenue? Here's the truth. When you try to be for everyone, like a total generalist, you blend in. You don't stand out. But when you're clear about who you serve, who you support, referrals come in faster. And they're so specific to you, to your business, because you're clear on who you serve and how you serve. People know exactly what you do. For example, if someone says, I need a bookkeeper for my construction business, who do you think gets referred first? The general bookkeeper who helps everyone? Or the bookkeeper who says, I specialize in construction bookkeeping? Notice the phrasing there? I specialize. My area of expertise. I focus on. I exclusively only work with. Those types of things start to highlight your area of expertise, what you specialize in, but it also makes you stand out as the go-to. So I want you to just hear me. What I just said was that by specializing makes you be the go-to. I've seen this firsthand. One of the bookkeepers that I worked with a while back, she chose restaurants as being her point of focus. Like that's where she wanted to build her business around. And within months, she was booked out. She attended network events. She joined other groups online, whether it was through Reddit or Facebook or a few other platforms that she knew restaurant owners or vendors that supplied restaurants were hanging out in. And she quickly became the go-to for restaurants. Not only that, but for restaurants that used a certain type of software that she was an expert in. During one of those network events, she got to talking with a CPA firm owner that was exclusively only doing tax returns for restaurant types of businesses. And so that CPA quickly referred business to that bookkeeper who would maintain the books and have those clients be tax ready for tax season. It was a great partnership, and one of those things where if she had not specialized and been a very focused bookkeeper, focusing on that type of industry, that conversation and that partnership would have never happened. It would have happened, but it would have not been a great partnership where the referral was just like a nice lead machine. More recently, I was speaking to someone about being the bookkeeper, the go-to for short-term rental businesses. I think I have mentioned in the past that I own a short-term rental that I host on Airbnb, and one of my bookkeepers specializes in just doing bookkeeping for short-term rentals. And so for you, that may be an industry that you want to focus on. And my God, there's just so much opportunity by being on Instagram or TikTok or wherever these short-term rental business owners market in. I just want you to think about the opportunities that you could have by specializing. So this first myth of niching down means fewer clients, I think it's wrong, because by specializing in an industry, you are now laser focused on being the go-to bookkeeper for that type of industry. If you're enjoying what I'm sharing so far, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It really does support my channel and helps me to keep making content like this for you. All right, let's move on to myth number 2. Niching makes you less flexible. Now, I know that may sound a little confusing, but I'm here to clear it up for you. You might feel like by niching down, you might miss out on helping even more people. You know you can help anyone who owns a business. You feel confident that you could just get any client and you could help them. So why limit yourself? I know that by narrowing down, you may feel like you're closing the door on potential clients, especially in the beginning. It's so tempting to just say yes to anyone who comes along who may need your help. And, at times that makes sense. But that feeling of you feeling like you're excluding people and closing the door, well, that's just simply not true. You can always expand later. Starting so wide and being a generalist is what actually keeps you stuck in the beginning. Because people don't know how to refer business to you. They don't really know who you can help. You're just kind of like a general Jack or Jackie of all trades, master of none. Niching first gives you traction. And once you've built authority and systems, you can absolutely branch out if you want. I know this myth is the one that keeps you stuck because I did it. I was a generalist when I started. I said yes to everyone, which meant I was learning all these different softwares. I was spending so much more time doing research on industries that I didn't have as much expertise in, that I wasn't as familiar with. It totally slowed me down, and it made it so much harder to develop processes and standardize those processes to improve and increase efficiency. Because remember, in other videos that I've shared with you, when I talk about pricing, I talk about how the more efficient you become, the less time it'll take you to perform that task, but you have a fixed price so that you're getting paid more for your time and for your service. Once I focused, I could go faster, build better systems, and serve my clients with confidence because I was an expert in that specific industry. I was specializing in the area that I knew forwards and backwards. In time, when I expanded my team, it also made my trainings more efficient. My team was able to learn and also get faster as well because we had our tech stack. We had our specific industry that we focused on. And if you're not sure what that is, Fortified Accounting, my actual accounting firm, my accounting and bookkeeping firm, we specialize in working with funded startups. We're here in the Silicon Valley, and we know we become the accounting departments for these startup businesses that cannot afford, nor are they ready to fully employ an entire accounting department. So that's where we step in and we help them. It makes it so much easier for us to pre-qualify those clients and to be able to say, yes, you may be a good fit for us and us for you, as well as saying no to the wrong clients because we're not a good fit for them. Overall, the quality of our work improved. Turnaround of services was so much faster, and our clients really felt like we understood their business. One startup founder actually told me that he finally felt like he could hand over the reins for his books, but not just that, for other areas of his business as well, and have so much peace of mind that he was able to enjoy running the business again. Biggest compliment. And within weeks of us stepping in to help that one founder, he had referred a couple of other people. Now, not everyone that gets referred to us becomes a client. Sometimes it's not a good fit, but the conversations are always valuable. And we make sure that whoever we meet with, they walk away with either we refer them to someone else or that we've given them some advice or guidance or next steps. And here's the power of that niching down. One of our other clients, a co-founder in one of the startups that became our client, was at a networking event for other CEOs in that same sort of software industry. Now, one of the other CEOs was actually complaining about how challenging it was to keep up with the day-to-day books and financial reports that the investors were requiring and requesting on an ongoing basis in order for them to secure funding for their business. Our client literally said, "I've got just the person you need to talk to." That was me, because he pre-qualified him for us. He knew that we only work with funded startups. And that CEO was pre-qualified just by being at that network event. And he was able to say, hey, this person and her team exclusively work with funded startups. What a great fit. Our client pre-qualified our next client. It's amazing. But I've got one more example for you. One of my colleagues, someone that I met years and years ago, we are not competitors, but we work together and we usually will refer each other clients. But she exclusively worked with dentists when we first met. She knew that industry really well. She knew the terminology. She knew the software that they would use. And so she was the go-to and she got referred a lot of business. A few years later, when she was booked with the dentist, she added team members and she also expanded to include chiropractors and physical therapists because they were very much in line in that sort of same industry. So she didn't have to really learn a new set of terms and new software. They were kind of like in the same type of service, but also the workflows were very similar. And when the workflows are similar, the way that they close the books, the reports that they generate are very similar as well. That flexibility for her to expand came after she established authority and as being the go-to in that specific industry. We are on a roll. Are you starting to see the opportunity? Do you see the benefits? Let's keep going because we are up to myth number 3. Won't I miss out on making more money? But in reality, specialists, we charge more. As a specialist, as the go-to, as an industry expert, you can charge more. You'll close clients faster and you'll attract business owners who actually value your expertise. Think about it. You wouldn't go to your family practitioner for a very specific surgery that you may need. The more focused your expertise, the higher the rate that you can command. And there's a side note here. Where you start in your fees is not where you're going to end up. When you're starting out, you may be charging a little bit less, but you don't stay there very long. Once you start to build a reputation and a referral process, and you get faster and you have more confidence, and you start to build your stack of confidence as well as your stack of tech and knowledge and experience, and you will be able to command a higher fee. By niching down and specializing, we'll make sure that that happens even faster. And of course, I have an example for you. One of my students started out by charging $400 a month as a generalist, to then charging $1,200 a month for providing similar services. However, this time she was focusing on working with business owners in the e-commerce industry using Shopify software and integrating it with QuickBooks Online. Do you see how specific that was? She started to work with e-commerce business owners who used Shopify and QuickBooks Online to provide the bookkeeping services for them and was able to charge $1,200 a month for generating the same type of service, but with her specialty, with her expertise. Same hours, triple pay because of her niche. And so I really think that it might help you to start thinking of niching as specializing in. It means the same thing, but it's just a different phrasing. Specializing in your area of expertise. The truth is, specialists win. After we niched down into funded startups only, one of our clients told us that the systems that we used, the processes, and just all the support that he was getting was exactly what he needed to get them investor ready. Within 6 months, that same client closed a round of funding, credited us by helping them to get their books ready, get their finances ready, their reporting ready, and they felt so confident in handing that over to the investors. They accredited us for giving them clarity, transparency, timely reporting, timely data, and was one of the main reasons their investors felt so confident in giving them the funding. What a great compliment. We don't take that lightly. Referrals from that one client brought in an additional 3 clients over the years. As I mentioned earlier, in my own business, I started out saying yes to everyone and being a generalist, which meant that I often worked harder to explain what I did and often to clients that were not a good fit. Once I niched down or specialized and focused on working with funded startups, which was the niche that I chose because I had the most experience in, everything shifted. Using my tech stack like QuickBooks Premier or QuickBooks Enterprise, we were not using QuickBooks Online, and other types of tools like Dropbox and Slack. And, I'm not going to bore you with that. But once we had all that in place, and those were our systems, those were our software, and that was the industry that we had selected to focus on and specialize in, it got easier for us to say yes to the right clients and no to the ones that were not a good fit for us to support. And that clarity alone has allowed me to have a really strong pricing and referral strategy. Instead of chasing every type of client, I became the partner that funded startup founders turned to when they needed not just bookkeeping and accounting and financial reporting, but also other types of support like systems implementations, systems conversions, hiring certain types of people to staff up their departments, and other types of strategies to give them financial clarity and transparency in their business. That is the power of niching. Clarity builds authority. Clarity of who you help, how you help them, builds your authority to be known as the go-to in that specific area of expertise that you will be selecting. And when you have the authority and the reputation of being the go-to in that industry, you can command a higher fee. If you're still with me, comment below and tell me what industry or what service, what niche will you be choosing? Or what niche are you thinking about? I'd love to hear where you're leaning and maybe give you some feedback in the comments. Now, if you're wondering how to pick a niche, if you're asking yourself, okay, Veronica, but how do I actually choose one? I want to give you 3 simple filters that you can run your niche idea by to help you choose one. The first one is passion. Do you enjoy the industry, service, or client type? For example, if you're passionate about wellness, well, then maybe your niche should focus on serving gyms and yoga studios. That could be a great fit. The second filter is profitability. Do those types of clients have the budget to pay you for your service? For example, I know that SaaS startups, like software as a service type of startups, or law firms often budget for this type of service that they need to pay, whether it's an internal bookkeeper or an external bookkeeping firm. They know that they need to pay for this professional service. The third filter would be accessibility. Can you actually reach this type of client that you want to serve through means like networking or marketing of some type, or a referral system that you can set up between the two? For example, if you are selecting restaurants, do you already have people in your network, in your contacts that are in the restaurant business? Not just own a restaurant, but maybe is a vendor that provides some sort of supply for the restaurant, whether it's furniture or produce or menu printing. I don't know the restaurant industry very well, but I'm just saying, think about who you already know in the industry that you're choosing. Do you have access to them so that you could do some sort of direct outreach and that you can promote your services to them? Or if they know someone that could use your services, that's an accessible niche. And if you can check 2 of those 3 boxes of the ones that I just shared with you, then that's a niche worth pursuing. If you're still with me, I want to tell you about the resources that I recently created that will help you in this area of your business. I'm really excited to just show you how these 3 different resources work together. They're pretty powerful when you combine them all. I want you to take action and gain momentum in your business. The 3 resources are my newest ebook called Booked. The second one is the 1,000 Niches PDF, and the third being the newly created Nisha, the Niche Matchmaker bot, who was trained by me. Let me quickly tell you about each one. The The Profit Booster PDF is like your giant menu of opportunities. Inside are 100 industries, each with 10 sub-industries, giving you 1,000 niches to explore. All you have to do is scan through, highlight a few that catch your eye, and circle the ones that feel interesting or familiar. That's your starting point. Next, we have Nisha, the niche matchmaker bot. She's not just a chatbot. I personally trained Nisha using the strategies I teach in Booked and the Profit Booster. If you already have some niche ideas, Nisha will help you narrow them down, show you which have the most profit potential, and even suggest sub-niches. If you have no idea where to start, that's okay. Nisha can guide you from scratch, help you to discover niches that fit your goals and strengths, and even script your outreach so you know exactly what to say when connecting with potential clients. It's like having your own niche and strategy coach right at your fingertips. And last, we have Booked, the playbook ebook that gives you real outreach scripts and proven client getting strategies. The most important thing is you don't need to do every strategy. You choose one or two that fit you best and stick with them. Booked also comes with a ton of bonuses to help you stay consistent and keep building momentum. So here's your action plan. Step 1, pick 3 niches from the Profit Booster. Step 2, chat with Nisha, the niche matchmaker bot, to refine your choice and get outreach scripts. Step 3, choose one strategy from the Booked playbook and take action and start gaining momentum and move forward. These tools work best when used together. That's why I've made it super simple for you to grab these resources together. You can grab Nisha, the niche matchmaker, which is the 1,000 niche PDF, and the Booked playbook ebook. I'll put the link in the description below as well as in the first comment. Here's the quick takeaway. Choosing a niche doesn't shrink your options. It actually makes it easier for your clients to find you. Niching isn't about locking yourself in. It's about giving yourself a clear place to start and build from. And it doesn't hurt your income. It actually helps you to charge more and attract better clients. Being a specialist is how you stand out, build confidence, and grow faster. Here's my challenge for you. Stop trying to serve everyone. Pick one niche, lean in, and let that focus open doors. Everything becomes so much easier. If you're ready to get started and take some action, you might want to grab the resources that I just walked you through. Booked, the playbook, Nisha, the matchmaker, and the Profit Booster, which is the 1,000 niche PDF. Let those resources help you by walking you through choosing a niche and landing clients. The link to those resources is in the description or in the first comment of this video. And once you've got your niche, don't stop there. Watch this next video where I walk you through how to land your first 3 clients. Your first client is already out there. Let's go find them together. Until next time, I'm Veronica. Thanks for hanging out with me today.